They never put in the job description. The part about holding space for a grieving child one period and grading essays the next. The part about teaching through your own heartbreak, exhaustion, or fear. The part about how sometimes you give everything, even when you have almost nothing left for yourself. The part about returning to the classroom after hearing news that changes your life forever. You see, we go to work every day, understanding that our classroom is more than the four walls. It's a haven, a soft place to land in a sometimes hard world, and sometimes where we get unexpected news. But like many educators around the world, we still show up, even when the world tells us to sit down. We carry invisible battles and still create spaces for joy, safety, and hope. Because sometimes the most powerful lessons aren't in the plan, they're in the courage to keep going. Welcome to Everything But the Lesson Plan. I am your host, Francesca Thompson. Today's episode is one of courage, love, and unshakable purpose. I'm honored to sit down with an extraordinary educator. Her name is Dr. Pitmon, and she faced the unimaginable, a cancer diagnosis. And her story of what happened next and what others should do when they feel that life has hit them hard. Her story is a testament to the power of purpose and how, even in the darkest moments, we as educators still show up, but it may look differently, and it's okay. Let's talk about healing, strength, and what it means to keep teaching when life gets hard. Welcome to the show, Dr. Pittman. How are you?
I am doing so well. I am so blessed, so honored to be on your show today. God is so good. Thank you for thinking of me. Thank you.
Yes, I am so glad you're here. I have to tell you a little backstory here. Dr. Pittman, I think we've known each other for now for maybe what, 4 or 5 years?
Yes, yep.
Yes. And,
Yes.
and Dr. Pittman, so Dr. Pittman took over my class whenever I was the entrepreneurship teacher, and I became the academy coach. And she is just the type of person that just, it's just this aura about her, right? She's just positive. You just the way I think about it is when I walk into your classroom, right? When you step your toe into her classroom, it's just going to be a positive energy that overtakes you, and you better come in there right, okay? You better come in there right and spreading that positivity as well. So I love that about you, Dr. Pittman. I love
Oh, that's so sweet.
it.
You have to look at you come in right, you're gonna step outside, get right, and come on back in.
Yes. So
I'm like, don't bring it in here.
don't bring it in there, okay? And I'm telling you, it doesn't even go, it doesn't enter her space, because when you put your leg in there, your leg feel it and be like, oh, you better act right, okay?
Look, we got up real early this morning to get this room right. You're not gonna mess it up.
So, we're here to tell your story, but first I want you to talk about how you got into education, and then kind of like what is your career path now?
Oh, yeah, sure. I grew up in an educational home. I think most of my family have some kind of educational background. I'm part of a sorority that, have tons of educators, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, of course. And my mom, before she had kids, she was in education, and then she went off into law management. I'm sorry, insurance management, the law office. Oh, help me, Lord. She did management in a law office
Okay, got
for
it.
insurance. Help me.
Yeah.
So, but she will always talk about being in education.
Mhm.
And then my older sister, she will always just teach us when we were little kids.
Mhm.
So she was born to be an educator. She just passed away last July at 48. Suddenly, God bless her soul. She was just my big sister. I love her so much.
Yeah.
Athea Hughes. And so watch her talk about how much she loved education. I didn't start in education, believe it or not. I started in business. I
Mhm.
managed a pharmacy for many years, believe it or
Oh,
not.
I didn't know that.
I did. That's where my business background started from. And then I kind of went into doing like my own boutiques and then my own marketing firm. And
Hmm.
so I did a little bit of everything, believe it or not, my little small amount of years of life. And so when I got out of the pharmacy management career, I went into higher education, so
Hmm.
the university system, and I was a director there for admissions for quite some time.
Hmm.
But in between, jobs, every now and then I would do substitute work, and I would mostly work in special education. I absolutely loved special education,
Hmm.
but my credentials was business, right? And so when I saw the opportunity to be an entrepreneurship teacher,
Hmm.
filling your shoes, which were the biggest shoes I ever had to fill, let
You
me
did
just
a
say that.
fine job.
Oh my goodness, I remember saying, "Oh my God, I must fill these shoes." Everybody call you the Francesca Thompson? Yeah. And so I absolutely loved education. I knew I would probably retire in education. And so when I saw the opportunity present itself to work at the high school teaching entrepreneurship, I got right in it.
You got
And
it.
it blessed me the entire time. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
Yes. So
And
that's
I
how I
love
got
that.
into that.
I think you
Education.
were you were the teacher that had. Do you remember a student named Joy?
Yes,
That
yes.
was
She
your
does her
student,
candle
right?
business. She
Yes.
was in my class. Yes.
Uh-huh. And so after you had left, we still connected. Actually, Joy is going to be on my 100 episode. Yes.
Oh,
But
oh my
I
goodness, that's
I just
wonderful.
thought about that. I was like, I think Dr. Pittman was the one who connected me with Joy. So
Yes, yes. She set up her business, I think, quite a few times in the marketplace, right?
yes, she did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
She
so
did
she's
good too.
doing very well. And I'm
It's
excited.
amazing.
Yeah, so she's doing good. So let's get into this. So let's talk about take us back to the moment where you received your diagnosis and how did you
Yes.
initially process it? What was going on in the classroom space at that time? And just kind of just take us through that so people can kind of understand the rest of your story.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I had been feeling some pains in my side for quite some time, and I was going to another doctor when I was in the university system, and they would just brush it off as like scar tissue. And I'm like, I don't know, that doesn't feel like scar tissue. But I'm trusting the experts. So
Mhm.
when I got into teaching again in covering the position you had, teaching entrepreneurship, thank God I was able to go back into Kaiser. I absolutely love Kaiser.
Mhm.
And so I got back connected with my doctor that I had many, many years ago, Dr. Dean. Love her. And so I said, Dr. Dean, I'm having these pains in my side.
Mhm.
So thank God she was wise enough to explore further. So she said that she was gonna set me up with CT scan. And so the CT scan, um, I did the CT scan. They said, man, it looks like you have some lesions on your liver, and I really didn't know what that meant, so I was not scared. I just said, oh, I don't know what that is, but okay. So she said we want to do an MRI.
Mhm.
So I was scheduled to do an MRI. I marked the wrong thing on my box.
Oh, you did.
And guess what that thing is? Do you think you may be pregnant? I just said, I don't know. And so they said, well, why don't you know? I said, because I'm married. And so the guy said, well, then we can't do your scan today. I said, why not? He said, because you have to now sign a form to do a pregnancy test. And I said, I can assure you I'm not pregnant. They said, well, we can't take that chance. And I said,
Hmm.
what? So I had to reschedule, right? And
Yeah.
that reschedule set me back probably like 4 to 6 weeks. And I said, man, that's a long time. But in between that weeks, let me tell you how God works. My dad passed away. So
Mm,
God arranged it where he would pass away and not even know what was to come.
mm,
And so my dad passed away in March. Um I retook the test.
mhm.
The doctor called me while I was on my lunch and said the nurse called while I was on my lunch and said the doctor wants to speak to you. Be available in an hour. And I said, in an hour? Okay, great. So I'll keep my phone on. I really didn't think anything of it. So
Mhm.
she called me at the last period of the day. And
Mhm.
the first thing she said, "Are you sitting down?" I said, "Why I have to sit down?" Yeah, I can sit down. As I told her, I can sit down. What's going on? And she said, "Well, we got the results of your MRI and it's cancer." I said, "Wait, what?"
Oh my
She said,
goodness.
"And it's in the pancreas. And when it's in the pancreas, it's aggressive." And I said, "Wait a minute. Wait, what?" And
Mm.
so immediately I called the teacher from across the hall. I said, "Please watch my class." And I shot right on over to Marcia Cradle's office because she's my cousin, believe it or not. And that's the only one I knew. I would call her my angel because she would just always show up right when I need her. When there was an emergency in the class, she just so happened to be passing by. So she's always there. And so I
Yeah.
immediately went to her office and I just woohooed. And I just said, "Call my mother." So she called my mom. I couldn't even handle the call. She had to calm my mom down. It was so funny. Now, hindsight. But then she immediately called in a couple other administrators, and they immediately sat me down and prayed over me.
Oh wow.
Prayed over me in a circle. It was a circle of them.
Mhm.
And they prayed over me. And then they said, "Are you able to drive home?" I said, "Yes, but I need to go home now." So they
Mhm.
got the Stellar Sub to cover my class, and I left immediately and never came back um, at that point because, I went home and my family met me at the house. And
Yeah.
I got there and just the rest is history. It's just a lot to take in at one time.
Mhm.
And still, you're pinching yourself like this just cannot be true. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get these things. That's what you're thinking. Like, this would never happen to me. I was one of those people that would say this would never happen to me. I no
Mhm.
longer say that, by the way.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
tell other people don't ever say that either because you don't know what could happen to you.
You're right. And just that whole part, everything you just said, I'm like, oh my goodness. Because I don't think me and you talked to the point where I was able to hear the whole story. I just
Yeah,
knew
we
what
haven't.
had, I don't even think I was there that day. So I think someone had told me about it, and then I
Yes.
was just in a state of shock. Girl, I was broken because I was just like, Dr. Pittman, the lady who
Yes.
helps me to get centered and my calm, and she's
Yes.
just a blessing to everyone that she touches and talks to, and in every room that she walks in. And so it was just like, wow. And then I know you were just so excited when you got there because you had just had your baby.
Yes. Right.
Yeah, and
I'm
so
like, everything is working out. You
yes,
know, life is beautiful, right? That's what I'm
yes.
saying.
Yeah, and I remember you were talking to me about your stomach issues. I don't know if you remember this, and I was telling you I got stomach issues
Yes.
too.
You
And so,
remember? Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I forgot about that.
yes.
Yes.
And so I was
Who
like,
knew what it was? Girl, who knew?
so I'm up here telling you, okay, well, you can't do dairy because I can't do dairy. And I'm like, you can't do this, and we can't eat any type of grease or oil because I can't eat it. It makes my stomach hurt. And then to come
Yes.
find out it was this thing, right?
Yes.
And
Oh, because
so
I will call you. I'm like, "Can you watch my class? I gotta go
yes,
now."
yes,
I never
yes.
knew that's what it was.
Uh-huh. So
Yes.
just, oh man, just a lot to take in. And I know that was a lot for you to even go through while you were in
Yes.
class. But it speaks to the support system of a school for you to be able to get that phone call and people immediately pour into you and help you out and cover for you and pray for you and
Yes.
think about next steps for you. And I think all of that matters. And I'm hoping people who listen, this is part of school culture. You gotta,
Yes,
you gotta have people vested in not only the lesson plans, but you also have to have them vested into the well-being of humans, right? Of
absolutely.
teachers,
Yes,
and
yes.
care. So, I appreciate everyone who, supported you at that time. I hate that I couldn't be there, but you had plenty of
But
uh,
yeah, you
people.
all are so dynamic. I think I always said South was just like a family. Everybody had each other's back, and
Yeah,
if one person wasn't there, was always someone else that could jump right on in there. So it was just a blessing from day
yeah.
one.
So you
Yes.
um you didn't come back to the classroom, but you did support South along the way, and then
Hmm.
you ended up um teaching in another way. So tell us about that.
Yes. So I wind up teaching in a different way.
Mhm.
And it's funny because I guess I'm just I just can't sit still, and I'm definitely not gonna sit still and die. So I just would just say, okay, well, Lord, now what? Because I can't sit still and I can't just sit here.
Mhm.
What do you have next for me to do? Well, in my sorority newsletter, I saw an advertisement for what they call a leadership institute, where you go through, I believe it's like 6 months of training for leadership. And so I said, well, why not? But I asked my family, do you think I can do this? Do you think I'll have the stamina to just stay with it and just be able to get it accomplished? And God bless my older sister said, you can do anything you want to do, Jamila. And I
Mhm.
said, really? And the best advice that I got when I first got diagnosed, because when you get a diagnosis, you're automatically thinking it's a death sentence. But
Mhm.
two significant people in my life jumped immediately in there and told me, what you're going to do is live. And
Yeah.
you're not going to just live, you're going to live to the fullest. I
Mhm.
said, oh, that's right, right? I'm still alive and I still have life to live and I can still live.
Yes.
And so that that's small and somebody may think it's cliche, but that meant the world to me at that time.
Mhm.
And so it gave me just this just unction to just say I can still do things. And so
Mhm.
I went ahead and joined the Leadership Institute. Unbeknownst to me, I wind up, being selected to be like the head of the class per se.
Okay.
So I was the class speaker. They made me like the chair for the community service project. And
Mhm.
it just propelled me to say, okay, then now what? Well, everyone knows I love the Lord. I'm a licensed minister. And
Mhm.
so I said, well, the chaplain position is going to come available, and I would love to be the chaplain, but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do. And the current chaplain at that time said, "Well, baby, you just gonna have to step out there and step out on faith." And I said, "Oh God, well, what does that look like?" And she
Mhm.
said, "Just do it." And so I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna do it." And so I went for it, and I was selected, and I have been the chaplain ever since then. That was what, 2002 or 3, 2003, I think. Yeah, 2003. And
23?
23.
Yeah.
Yes, 2023.
Mhm.
And I recently just won what they call the Pinnacle Award, which is
Wow.
actually the Delta of the Year Award. And I
Wow.
was actually nominated last year. I didn't get it last year, but I was also nominated again this year and won this year. And
Mhm.
that is a testament to God's strength being made perfect in my weakness. He just took everything that I already had into me and just made it beautiful with his strength. And we did things that have never been done
Yeah. Yeah.
by the chaplain's council. I mean, we had our own, we had our own calendar, we got our own YouTube channel. I mean, we've done so many things. And if for me, it wasn't to um get an award or anything, it was to reach the masses and tell them how good God has been, not just to me, but to everybody else. That's
Yeah.
what we wanted to do. But when you put God first and you do his will and then you share his good word, he's gonna bless you.
Yeah.
And that's what he's been doing. He's been blessing me. So I am now teaching people about our wonderful Lord Jesus.
Mhm.
And when I tell you, it's so wonderful. It's been such a blessing. And I still am able to connect with people. I even still see my students out in the community, and it melts my heart because they're
Mhm.
adults now.
Yeah.
One I didn't even recognize. I'm at the grocery store, and she's like, are you Dr. Pittman?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, you're my favorite teacher." And I'm looking like, "I don't know you."
Because
I
they
said,
grow
"What's
up.
your name?" Yes. But you got to remember too, Francesca, that was during right off of the pandemic. So everyone wore face masks back
Oh
then.
my goodness, I forgot about that. Yeah, you
Yeah.
didn't get to
So
see
we
many
never really
faces.
saw what each other looked like.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you know
Yes.
what? All those students I had that had on those masks, I would not, I don't know. I don't know what they look like at
Yes.
this point. No.
It was so wonderful. I mean, I screamed so loud, everybody's looking at me. But I was like, "Love you, I missed you. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh." And to
Yeah.
see, her all grown up and as an adult and doing so well, it just my heart just melted. But I'm still teaching. I still have my own classroom when I need to via Zoom. And so I'm still teaching. I'm still doing the things that, I was doing before, but in a different capacity, in a
Yeah.
different capacity now.
But you know what? Your story speaks to, just like you said, who that mentor that said live, because some
Yes.
people get the diagnosis and they just become overwhelmed with depression that they sit down and they become sicker. But you said, hey, okay, I got this diagnosis, but I also got this brand new baby and I
Yeah.
got to live. So this baby gonna be crying, this baby gotta eat, and I need to,
Yes.
still keep moving and going for my baby,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
myself, and
Yeah.
so that's
And
a
my
step.
husband.
And your husband, yeah. And so it's like that's something that I think educators need to hear because not all of the educators who are faced with a diagnosis while they're in school get to leave. Some of them have to stay and they have to
Yes.
work through that and they have
Yes.
to live with the diagnosis and come to school and teach and deal with their
Jesus.
own well-being and deal with the challenges of their students. And so it's a lot, right?
Oh my goodness, yes.
But going back to the culture of your school, going back to the support system of your school, it can be done because we see so many teachers doing it, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes.
so when you think about I don't know if you had got a chance to come back to talk to your students after you got diagnosed, or was there any other closure that you had with a few of your students at all?
Just when I were some of them that I was really, really close with, that had my personal number because we would have to do different projects and things outside of the school, like DECA and those things. They
Hmm.
knew how to reach me through my Google number. And so they would send cards and
Hmm.
nice, like everybody signed a card and they sent, I think one of the teachers dropped it off to me, but it was so touching.
Hmm.
And so that's the way I kind of stayed in touch with some of the students. Most of them have graduated now, I believe, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't actually come back up to the school. I
Yeah.
haven't. Mm-mm.
Yeah. And then didn't and the reason I'm asking you this because I want people to know what schools can do. Didn't the school do something or organize something for you
Yes.
with the teachers?
Yes. So the school was more than accommodating. Let
Hmm.
me say that because I was going to actually come back that school year. So they had already set up accommodations for me. They had designated a convenient parking spot for me.
Wow.
They had already gave me elevator access because I think I was going to be like on a very top floor.
Hmm.
And they just said whatever I needed, never be afraid to say it, share what I need, be transparent because they will make the accommodations. So they were willing to do that. But I just thought it was in the best just in the best interest for me to not return, only because I had a younger child.
Yeah,
So
you
I still
did.
needed to preserve my energy to be the best mom that I could be.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to come home drained and have nothing left for my son. And so he still needs a mother, right?
Yeah,
So
because I don't, and I want people to understand this. You had, I think, you had recently gotten married, and y'all had,
yes.
and the baby was how old when you
Yeah,
got
the baby
diagnosed?
was maybe one.
Yeah, and so that was a lot to deal
Yeah, it
with.
was a
You
lot.
handled it with grace. I say that because you were just, it was just some people get that and they become a mess. And it's just, doom and gloom, and it just kind of just in
Yes.
this down spot for a long time. But the fact
Yes.
that you just picked it up and it's like, okay, this is this thing. I'm going to deal with it. I'm
Yes.
going to still live and continue
And
on.
let me say this, because this is what I had to draw from.
Hmm.
I couldn't just say, okay, this is what's happening,
Hmm.
and then, that's it. I had to go back and remember all the times God showed up for me.
Yes.
And even with my baby is a miracle baby.
Hmm.
Doctors told me I couldn't even have a kid,
Mm.
right? So my baby is here when doctors said what couldn't happen. And
Hmm.
so I looked at this situation the same way. Okay, they've given me a prognosis, but God has already proven that He can outdo prognosis, right?
Yeah.
So I definitely knew I wasn't going to focus on that,
Hmm.
and God can do whatever He wants to do. So I just put my whole energy and my whole focus on my God
Yeah.
and not my situation. And so I just want to share that with anyone that's going through anything, to just go back and remember all the times that He's carried you,
Yeah.
because you wouldn't even gotten to this point in life if He wasn't carrying you. And so we cannot let any diagnosis or any situation make us think that that's just it, because it's not. It's actually a platform to give God even more glory. And that's how I look at it. And because of it, not suffering. I am not. I've gone through some challenging things, yes, like surgeries that required me to, you know, extensive recovery, and it's not comfortable.
Hmm.
It doesn't always feel good, but I'm not suffering.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
Hmm.
God is still with me, and He holds my hand, and He has blessed me more than probably I've ever been blessed in life going through this.
Yeah.
And so how can anything be bad when God has shown you nothing but good things,
Hmm.
in spite of what others may say is the worst thing?
Yeah.
And so that's what we have to keep our focus, and we have to figure out what our will is. We have to have a will. My son is my will, my family is my will, helping other people is my will. And I
Hmm.
can never lose sight of that purpose. And so as long as I keep my focus on those things, I'm going to still go. And I'm not just surviving, I'm
You're
thriving.
thriving. Yes, you are thriving. And that is just
Yeah.
kind of a good way to end, right? So, what does
Yes.
the future look like for you now as an educator, as a survivor, or as a fighter, right?
Yes.
What
Well,
else are
believe
you
it or not,
doing?
I just finished my chaplain certification. And so guess what?
Congratulations.
My future is still helping people, because
Okay.
God put me on this earth to serve others with the gifts that He gave me. And that gift is connection, right? Whether it's through education, relationships, or just simply just existing.
Hmm.
That is my purpose. And so as long as I'm here till I can't move and blink and bat an eye, I'm going to serve that purpose. And
Yeah.
I believe that is why I'm still living, and that is why I'm still thriving when people don't even, by the way, my diagnosis was stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Okay. Tell me, people don't even survive months. I am going into I'm year 3 going into year 4.
You
So
better
my
tell the
doctor
people.
reminded me going into year 4. I'm year
Yes.
3. That is the grace of God. And it's only because I'm still serving others where
Yeah.
He pours more life into me.
Hmm.
I'm blessed. And I thank God. And I'm going to share with other people how to still live in
Yeah.
spite of.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you said you know your purpose. If the educators who are listening, and if you've gotten diagnosed recently with anything, right? Don't lose your purpose.
That's
Make
right.
sure you're holding on to something that's going to continue to help you to move forward so that you don't get stuck. And that's what Dr. Pitman did. She knew her purpose. She knew she had to live. She knew she was not only going to survive, you heard it from her mouth. I'm thriving in this thing. And her
Yes.
energy, I follow her on social media.
Facebook. Yes.
Yes, and she just everything is positivity. It's like it's almost like if I get on social media and I'm like I had a bad day and I want to complain, I look at your page, I'm like this girl is so positive. And even before the diagnosis, she was just a positive person, a positive energy person, and I love that. I love that for you.
Oh, thank you. And
Yeah.
I love that about you.
Yeah. But I want to be like you when I grow up, okay?
That's funny because we think the same about each other. Like, I think you're amazing, right?
Yeah, so any last words?
You know what? Just stay focused. Don't get angry. Don't lose sight. Stay focused.
Mhm.
That's it. And
Yeah,
you don't have to fully define what your purpose is. What
mhm.
you're thriving in is your purpose, and
That's
just
right.
keep thriving in that.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so honored, so blessed.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love you. Thank
Yes,
you.
to every teacher listening who is facing a personal battle, this conversation is a reminder that your strength is not defined by perfection, but by your presence. Keep showing up in whatever way you can and know that your work matters deeply. Thank you to our incredible guest, Dr. Pittman, for sharing her story, her heart with us today. Remember, it is okay to ask for help. It is okay to slow down and to teach from a place of grace. We'll see you next time on Everything But the Lesson Plan. Keep thriving.